Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marcin Michalak. I represent Saginomiya, which is a Japanese company. And I'm here today to tell you a little bit about our components for R-744, that is CO2 applications. Before I start with that, let me just give you a brief introduction of Saginomiya. Maybe you are familiar with us, maybe not. But as I began with, we are a Japanese company. We were established in 1940 to manufacture the pressure bellows at the beginning. We spent the first few years in perfecting the design, mastering the production. In 1948, we became a joint stock company, and then we became building our product portfolio based on that, up to basically all temperature, pressure controls that you can think of. And of course, together with our production product portfolio, with our presence in the market, also our global presence grew. As you can see, we are now present pretty much all around the world. Our headquarters is located in Tokyo, but going west, we have a sales office and a factory in China, sales office and a factory in Thailand. Then, of course, the sales office here in Europe, which I work for, is located in Warsaw. Also near Warsaw, we have a joint venture factory with Danfoss for manufacturing small pressure switches. And then going further, we have also two sales offices located in the USA. But still, the majority of the production and actually the production of the components that I will be talking about today is done in Japan. This is the one. And basically, the fact that we are a Japanese company also lies in the basis of the fact that we do have CO2 components, because they were introduced in response to the demand for the EcoQ's CO2 heat pumps for water heating, which was a project in Japan started in order to solve the issue of high energy consumption for water heating, domestic hot water. However, building up on that, we've been present in the market for over 20 years now, in the CO2 market for over 20 years. But we have expanded our product portfolio in order to be applicable for other units, not only the simple heat pumps from the EcoQ project, but also larger, more complex units, as you can see the one here. Currently, our product portfolio includes the products that you see, which are in short, pressure switches, pressure sensors, electronic expansion valves, and solenoid valves. We have some few versions of pressure switches. Some of the products are new introduction because, as I said, we are continuously working on building up our portfolio, expanding it to make it more applicable for more and more applications. But yeah, let's all go through that in the right order. So the first product group that I will tell about are the electronic expansion valves, which, as you can see, are separated into two sub-series, UKVJ and JKV. Basically, the separation is based on size. So the UKVJ are the smaller ones, and JKV are the larger, higher capacity versions. And as you can see, one of the JKV valves is underlined. This is because it's a new introduction. They were introduced this year in order to expand the product portfolio to higher capacities. Basically, all of the electronic expansion valves we produce follow the same principle. That is, they are stepper motor valves with the 0 to 480 pulse range. And a magnetic coil is put on them to control the valves. And as you can see, the size of the valves ranges from 0.8 to 4 millimeter port size, which gives us actually quite a wide range of applications possible, because of course this depends on conditions, but considering the capacity, we could talk about the range from 3 to even 140 kilowatts. Which is already small units and to the mid-range and even higher range, I would say. The next product group are solenoid valves, which are called HPV series. These are basically used normally as all of the for the oil difference function or cutoff function. And we also have, as you can see, a few sizes available of them. Of course, what's important to notice is the fact that the majority of our products have the maximum working pressure of up to 150 bar, which makes them applicable not only for the subcritical but also transcritical applications, which of course gives more options for use in the market. When it comes to HPV, there is also a small variation of the valves, which we called HPV E series. This is a sub-series of the solenoid valves. Still, from the construction point of view, they are solenoid valves, so they work on an on and off basis. However, this series was designed to work as a pulse width modulation expansion valves. So it has increased capacity in order to be able to operate basically more often and to be able to meet the need for the expansion valve. Here, the difference is, of course, also the port size. The product itself from the outside looks exactly the same, but the durability is increased, and then the port size ranges from 0.5 millimeter to 1.1 millimeter. The main advantage of using pulse width modulation valves instead of stepper motor valves is the fact that they are more secure when it comes to energy shortages. They just don't need backup energy or additional solenoid valves to close off the circle completely, just in case something happens. The third product group are the pressure sensors. The series is called HSK, and these, same as all of our pressure sensors, pressure transducers, their construction and build is based on a piezoelectric chip. So the construction of the sensors is actually quite simple, because you have a piezoelectric chip placed on a thin oil layer, then placed on a diaphragm, which deforms and then transforms the pressure changes into the electronic signal. The product is simple. However, with this simplicity, we are able to control the production very well. So we are able to offer high accuracy and, of course, high durability of the product, of the sensor, and they can work for a very long time. The new thing that we have made with the pressure sensors, which were also available for almost 20 years for the whole EquiQ project, was the fact that we have also now added additional electrical connection. So the older version is the HSK BC, which had a Molex connector, but right now we also have a backyard connector available, just in case, to make it easier to use for a wider range of units. And last, and in a way, a largest product group are the pressure switches for CO2. In this case, we can talk about two product series. The first one are CCB, which are cartridge pressure switches. They, as you can see, they look from the outside a little bit similar to the pressure sensors. And this is because they also are based on their working is also based on a diaphragm, which means there is a diaphragm that deforms based on the pressure level, but instead of being connected to a chip, in this case it is connected to a micro switch that switches the connection at the right point. There is, as you can see, the waterproof version of it is available, but we also have the simple open one, depending on which are your needs, which is your application, where exactly do you need to use the switches, and we have a quite wide operating pressure setting possibility. So as you can see, we can set the pressure from 110 to 160 bar. And then the product itself can withstand even up to 165 bar without any problem. They are all made as solder types with 1/4 inch pressure connection. And the second series of pressure switches are CKB series. So this is also still quite new introduction to our portfolio because it was actually introduced last year. And this was made they were made as a response to the growing demand for the switches which can meet the stricter regulations for narrow differential, high durability, and high accuracy of the setting, because yeah, they have a different compared to CCB, they have a different construction of the micro switch, which makes it easier to adjust the setting and to make it just the way you need it. In this case, we are talking about even wider pressure setting range, as it goes down to 40 bar and goes up to 130 bar, which means they can be used in both subcritical but also transcritical units. And as you can see, there is a minimum pressure differential of 10 bar, which was not possible in a CCB due to their construction. But in this case, we were able to bring this down. And the same goes for setting tolerance, which now can be set to +0 -8%, which is required for the European regulations for the CO2 units, which makes it possible to use them as a safety switch in all the possible applications. Yeah, as you can see, the basic construction is all the time the same. They are connected with a flare connection from the pressure side and with a DIN plug from the electrical side. We have a free reset versions available, which are according to standard described as PSH, PZH, and PZHH. Which means basically automatic reset version, manual reset version, and a manual reset version where you cannot access the reset button freely from the outside. You need to use a special tool for that. As you can also see, they are certified for the PED category 4, which even increases the ability to use them as the safety pressure switches in all the possible applications. And that's it. In short, I think we still have quite some time for potential questions that you might have. But of course, we'll be here at Saginomiya for the whole 3 days, so more than 2 days still remaining. We are located in a hall 7-8, it's a stand number 512. So if you have any questions right now, feel free to ask them. If anything comes up to your mind later on, feel free to visit us, ask me, or ask any of my colleagues, and we can discuss anything you're interested in. So, are there any questions? I guess not. In this case, thank you very much for your attention. I hope you have a good show, and I will see you around. Thank you very much.